William McDonough, Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things. In the book A Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things by William McDonough, the author critically examines the flaws in our current industrial production system, built around the cradle-to-grave model, and highlights the need to embrace a cradle-to-cradle approach. The book demonstrates how our current linear system, consisting of resource extraction, product manufacturing, consumption, and waste disposal, leads to environmental degradation and harmful consequences. The summary delves into the limitations of popular solutions like the 3R trend: reduce, reuse, recycle, and suggests adopting an eco-effective approach, aligning with the natural cycle and focusing on the local environment.
Rethinking industrial practices. The Industrial Revolution birthed an era of relentless pursuit for production efficiency and profitability, while neglecting the ecological consequences. Presently, industry still runs on a linear cradle-to-grave model, consuming resources and producing waste without replenishment. The prevailing mindset perceives nature as an entity meant for consumption, which consequently leads to massive environmental degradation. Although there is increased awareness about environmental protection, industries struggle to address pollution challenges effectively. The Industrial Revolution was a time when humanity raced to achieve greater production efficiency, with little regard for the ecological impact of these actions. Several generations later, industry remains a linear system, with production starting in the hands of manufacturers and concluding in landfills. Most products today are designed to have a limited lifespan, often making it more cost-effective to purchase new items rather than repair broken ones. This linear approach, or the cradle-to-grave model, sees resources extracted, transformed into goods, sold, and ultimately disposed of in landfills or other disposal sites. Industries commonly apply a one-size-fits-all approach, designing products and processes for worldwide usage without considering regional environmental differences. A clear example lies in detergent manufacturing, where companies create potent formulas sufficient for hard water areas, disregarding the environmental damage this could cause in regions with soft water, where less detergent is needed. Moreover, humans continue to exploit nature on a massive scale through mining, fossil fuel combustion, and monocultural agricultural practices, which strip away natural diversity to accommodate single-crop cultivation. This ongoing exploitation reveals an underlying belief that nature exists solely for our use, leading to considerable harm to our environment. Although societies have become more conscious of the need to protect the environment, industries are yet to fully engage with the pollution issue, falling short of the efforts required to achieve meaningful change. It is imperative that we reconsider our industrial practices and transition towards a more sustainable, eco-friendly future. Rethinking Eco-Efficiency. In response to environmental concerns, industry leaders formulated the concept of eco-efficiency, which emphasizes getting the most out of resources while generating minimal waste and pollution. This gave rise to the 3R trend: reduce, reuse, recycle. However, each of these approaches has its shortcomings. Reduction slows down, rather than prevents, environmental damage, and even small amounts of pollutants can be devastating. Incineration releases dangerous toxins, while reusing only transfers waste from one location to another. Recycling, or rather downcycling, degrades the quality of materials over time. To truly promote sustainability, materials should be designed for safe and effective use in subsequent products. Eco-efficiency, the strategy adopted by industrial leaders to counteract environmental degradation, focuses on maximizing resource use while minimizing waste and contamination. This approach birthed the familiar 3R mantra: reduce, reuse, and recycle. However, a closer examination reveals that these solutions are less than ideal. Reducing waste may seem like a positive step, but it only delays, rather than prevents, ecological harm. Even small amounts of hazardous emissions can have catastrophic effects on biological systems. Moreover, toxins like dioxins are released during the incineration process, contaminating air, water, and soil, as materials like plastic and paper were never designed for safe burning. Reusing waste carries its own set of problems, mainly that it shifts the issue from one area to another. In some developing nations, for instance, sewage sludge containing harmful chemicals gets converted into animal feed. Recycling turns out to be quite deceptive, too. In reality, it is downcycling, which reduces the quality of materials with each cycle. This happens because the original product's mixed materials can't be separated and returned to their initial state. For example, high-quality steel from automobiles gets melted with other components like copper, paint, and plastic, lowering the resulting steel's quality. A more effective recycling strategy would involve designing materials specifically for safe and effective reuse in subsequent products, thus enabling true sustainability. Beyond the 3 Rs. Our world requires a more comprehensive approach than simply relying on the 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, recycle. We need to shift our focus away from making production processes less harmful and towards creating industries that are entirely beneficial. Eco-efficiency, although seemingly improving sustainability, often provides only an illusion of positive change. For instance, energy-efficient buildings may reduce oil use, but contribute to indoor air pollution. Traditional agricultural methods, often regarded as inefficient, can provide better environmental outcomes. Many eco-friendly factories distribute pollution in non-obvious ways, such as high smokestacks sending pollution far from its source. Unfortunately, government regulations often perpetuate this issue by focusing on large-scale solutions and failing to tackle the root of the problem. To create lasting, positive change, we must shift our approach and innovate beyond the limitations of eco-efficiency. Embracing eco-effectiveness. Let's shift away from mere efficiency and embrace eco-effectiveness by focusing on products, services, and systems that genuinely benefit our world. This involves altering our perspective and reimagining traditional concepts. For instance, creating roofs with plant-covered soil instead of conventional materials. Eco-effectiveness aims to expand industries that do the right thing and positively impact the environment. By reevaluating our production systems and opting for biodegradable materials, we can cultivate a more sustainable world. This begins by making the right choices in our everyday lives and industries. If we set aside the pursuit of mere efficiency and focus on eco-effectiveness, we'll create a more sustainable world. This means prioritizing environmentally friendly products, services, and systems over the old product-to-waste mindset. Moving toward a cradle-to-cradle model opens the door for profound changes that can truly benefit our planet. It's high time we stopped trying to control nature and, instead, started working alongside it. By reconsidering the traditional design of everyday items like roofs, we can make a significant difference. A novel approach consists of covering roofs with soil and plants, which keeps homes at a consistently comfortable temperature, promotes oxygen production, and offers a visually appealing alternative to conventional roofs. Such eco-effective solutions surpass what eco-efficiency alone can accomplish. Unlike eco-efficiency that focuses on reducing the size of industries and systems, eco-effectiveness encourages their growth, as long as the direction is positive and considerate of the environment. By expanding industries that do the right thing, we support replenishment, restoration, and nourishment of Earth's ecosystems. Taking steps towards eco-effectiveness means considering the entire production process instead of just the end product. If we manage to transform the byproducts of industries into something positive, like using biodegradable materials, we can stimulate an ever-growing, sustainable industry. The more biodegradable materials are produced and used, the more will enrich the soil and boost the vitality of our ecosystems. The journey towards eco-effectiveness starts with making the right choices collectively and individually. This shift transforms the presence and impact of industry in our world for the better. Eradicating waste through eco-effectiveness. Eco-effectiveness begins by tackling waste production, which arises from failing to identify the differences between biological and technical materials. By designing products and materials that can be reintegrated as either biological or technical nutrients, we can emulate nature's cradle-to-cradle system, revolutionizing the way we create and dispose of products. The root cause of our waste production lies in our inability to distinguish between biological and technical materials. Biological materials can be safely returned to the environment, while technical materials are hazardous and should not be discarded. Ironically, we often transform biological materials into technical ones, making it challenging to give them back to nature in a usable form. Take the example of leather shoes, which were once made entirely of biological materials, but now incorporate potentially harmful elements like chromium and rubber in the tanning and manufacturing process. To counter this waste generation menace, we must start by designing our products as biological nutrients that can be safely reintegrated into ecological cycles after their use. We can achieve this by using only biological components to create products like soaps and liquid cleaners. When these items are washed away, they should not only be non-harmful but also contribute to the ecosystem's balance. Simultaneously, we can develop products and materials as technical nutrients, exclusively incorporating technical components that can be reintegrated into the technical cycle. A prime example would be a high-quality plastic computer case made using only technical materials, which can be recycled repeatedly without degrading. We can also implement innovative business models, like lending televisions for a specific period, allowing companies to retrieve and recycle materials into newer models, preventing waste. By adopting nature's cradle-to-cradle system of nutrient flow, we can revolutionize product design to minimize and eventually eliminate waste. This process ensures that all products are created with the understanding that waste is not an inevitable consequence, but rather an avoidable byproduct. Harnessing local solutions. Embracing regional diversity and utilizing local resources are crucial to maximizing sustainability and reducing environmental impact. By employing locally sourced materials, tapping into regional energy flows, and tailoring products to suit distinct regional demands, businesses can contribute to a more efficient and environmentally friendly world. The way businesses operate and address environmental issues should be tailored to their specific region. This means understanding and respecting local differences and making the most of the resources available. For instance, in Rio de Janeiro, a successful waste treatment project relied on locally made clay pipes to carry wastewater. Not only did this minimize transport costs and reduce environmental damage, but it also allowed the community to learn and work with locally available materials. Moreover, optimizing regional energy flows, such as solar energy and wind power, can lead to more sustainable solutions. By equipping sun-facing roofs with solar panels to supply energy directly to residences, we can minimize reliance on large-scale power plants. Additionally, installing wind turbines on rented farmland can capitalize on existing power lines, diminishing the need for massive wind farms. Understanding regional desires and needs is also essential when designing and distributing products. For example, packaging suitable for African villagers who lack recycling facilities should be biodegradable, serving as a natural fertilizer for the environment. Likewise, people living in areas with limited access to resources, such as India, would benefit from packaging that is safe to burn, making it a more valuable commodity in locations where materials and energy are costly. By adapting business strategies to regional differences and leveraging local resources and energy flows, we can create a more environmentally conscious world through sustainable practices and products tailored to the needs of diverse communities. Achieving eco-efficient balance. To create an eco-efficient company, begin by lessening your environmental impact through the removal of harmful substances and focusing on local materials and waste reduction. Use the fractal triangle concept, balancing equity, economy, and ecology, to make informed decisions. Consider how these aspects interact, such as the connection between employee well-being and ecological practices. Striving for this balance lays the foundation for a successful, eco-friendly business. Make your product eco-friendly by reducing the use of hazardous substances like PVC, cadmium, lead, and mercury. Focus on locally sourced materials and innovative waste management solutions, paving the way towards a positive environmental footprint. To integrate environmental initiatives within your business framework, envision a fractal triangle with equity, fairness, economy, profitability, and ecology, environmental impact, as its vertices. Aim for the harmony between these factors within your company's practices. Incorporate the intersecting aspects of this triangle to address multifaceted concerns. For instance, combine ecology and equity to evaluate employees' exposure to harmful substances, or merge equity and economy to examine pay gaps between genders. By balancing these components, your company transforms into an eco-efficient, socially responsible, and profitable organization, inspiring others to follow suit in the journey toward sustainability.
McDonough's A Cradle to Cradle book challenges the conventional wisdom of industrial production and encourages a paradigm shift towards a cradle-to-cradle approach. By moving away from the linear, cradle-to-grave system, we can adopt innovative, eco-effective solutions that align with nature's cycles and promote sustainability. The book calls for a holistic view of equity, economy, and ecology, transforming industries into positive forces for the environment and global society. In conclusion, Cradle to Cradle provides a compelling vision for a sustainable, eco-effective future, where industries work harmoniously with nature, waste is minimized, and local environments are respected and utilized efficiently.